taxpayer dollars for Catholic school, Oklahoma shakes America's secularism. In a groundbreaking move that has sent shockwaves through the nation, Oklahoma's education board has given the go-ahead to establish the first religious charter school in the U.S., known as St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School. A charter school is a type of public school in the United States that runs independently from established school systems in the state that it operates, and the school receives funds from taxpayers. So it's kind of like a public school, but it's not the same. However, this decision has ignited a firestorm of debate over the separation of church and state, especially since St. Isidore will receive over $25 million in taxpayer funds over the first 5 years. Rachel Laser, president of Americans United for the Separation of Church and State, called it a, quote, clear violation of religious freedom of Oklahoma taxpayers. And it is while Brett Farley, executive director of the Catholic Conference of Oklahoma, heralded it as a, quote, victory for parents, for school choice, and for religious liberty. The contentious decision is expected to face legal challenges, with both sides wielding the First Amendment as their battle standard.
All right.
This is absolutely...
How is this allowed?
It's not. It's not. It shouldn't be. It's not. And when, based on the reporting that I was reading, when the school board or the relevant body that was making a vote on this, they were even openly discussing how they believed that this might not be legal and this might not be allowed and this might be completely unconstitutional, in full knowledge that this is like, I think one of the people on the board literally said that this is uncharted territory.
Okay, you might know this more than I do. Is this on purpose just so that somebody does complain and so they could take it to the Supreme Court so that the new conservative court right now changes what is precedent? Is that it? Are they doing this so that somebody complains so that they could change how the Constitution is interpreted?
I'm not 100% positive on that, but I also highly suspect that. I highly suspect that because I was reading in a report, I can't find it in my notes right now, but there is this organization that's behind this where they explicitly state that their whole thing is to get church and prayer and religion back into public schools. And yeah, Dia saying a test case for the Supreme Court. Yep. Like I very much believe that this is certainly a motivation for this. And as soon as this was announced, within minutes, Americans United for the Separation of Church and State announced that they were preparing legal action.
Yeah. By the way, this is a trap, but you have to take it because if you don't attack this, then everybody's going to do it, right? So this is bait, but it's a bait that you have to go for. So I just want to take the opportunity again to shit on the people who said that Hillary and Trump make no difference. Look what you have guys done. Look what you have done. Okay, does it really make no difference now? Look what has happened to your Supreme Court. Look how people are eager to challenge the separation of church and state because the judges on the Supreme Court in the United States are conservative, and people want to have their go at challenging and breaking this wall. Right? This is what you have done. And they might succeed. Imagine if this goes all the way to the Supreme Court and all these conservative judges rule in favor of this school.
It's so bad. It's so bad because we already have a Catholic majority Supreme Court, which is so disproportionate in terms of the actual demographics of America. And this only is feasible because of what the Supreme Court has done in the past 2 years. And I want to make sure to touch on that to explain how this is even happening. So please listen to this. In a key Supreme Court rulings in 2020 and 2022, the court ruled that religious schools could not be excluded from state programs that allow parents to send their children to private schools using government-financed scholarship or tuition programs. Chief Justice John G. Roberts Jr. wrote that while states are not required to support religious education, if a state chose to subsidize any private schools, it could not discriminate against religious ones. So we covered one of these cases a few years ago, or last year, where there was a situation in Maine where, because Maine is very rural, there aren't a lot of schools that are available. And to help compensate for this and the undue burdens on families, the state had a voucher system, basically saying that if the public schools are too far away from you, we will help fund your ability to send your children to the private schools that are closer. However, they were only doing that for non-religious private schools. And then there was a lawsuit because of this, and the Supreme Court ruled on the side of the religious schools, saying that as long as this policy is in place, that you have to fund with taxpayer money the religious schools as well. And so that's this current Supreme Court has no problem throwing out precedent. We've seen this with so many of the decisions they've made over the past few years. So that's already a big problem. And two, this previous ruling that they had over the past few years is setting the precedent for stuff like this, setting the groundwork for this to be allowable. And so if this goes up, I don't know. It's a really bad situation. It's a bad situation.
Read what D is saying.
D is saying, yeah, exactly. This is happening precisely because of the Supreme Court Catholic conservative majority. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I wanted you to show that video by Andrew Seidel. For those of you who don't know, Andrew Seidel is farther down. Is a constitutional, I believe he's a constitutional lawyer. Anyways, he's written many, many amicus briefs to the Supreme Court, has been involved in the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and now Americans United for the Separation of Church and State. So I'm always someone I go to help understand how these decisions and policies affect the Supreme Court, because he's very, very knowledgeable. So let's see what he had to say.
Start this.
So Oklahoma just approved a charter for a Catholic school, a virtual Catholic school. But that means you're going to have a Catholic public school. Look, this is a sea change in American democracy. We've not seen something like this. I mean, this is a direct violation of the separation of church and state. You can't have a Catholic public school. But that's what's going to happen in Oklahoma. And your taxpayer dollars are going to be funding it. They're going to be taxing you to support the Catholic Church. That's a violation of your religious freedom. And so Americans United for Separation of Church and State is on it, au.org. We're talking with all the people we need to, and you're going to stay tuned because you know you're going to hear about a lawsuit on this front. Americans United is on it.
Thank you for your service, sir. Yeah. So this is obviously something that just happened, and we still need to see what fallout is going to come from this, especially on a legal case. But there was one social media post that D included where it was a guy saying, "I can't wait to see like a Luciferian public charter school. Like, let's get the Satanic Temple. The Satanic Temple now needs to start a public virtual charter school." Yeah, exactly.
I look forward to the opening of Luciferian charter schools of Oklahoma. Yeah. That's I like how D goes and finds the best comments for us to highlight. This is really good. It's very helpful.
Yeah, exactly. But I was thinking, like, man, sending my kids to like a Satanic Temple school would be like actually really, really cool. Because have you looked at like the material that they create for children? Their children's material is really cool. It's like these cutesy little goats, and it's just about like scientific inquiry and like being curious and like learning about the natural world. Like, it's basically just fun science classes, but they make it look metal.
All right. So here's a comment that I don't understand.
Armin, can you not order Susie around? When did he order me around?
Yes. Also, now I'm gonna. I didn't. But now I might, because you're white knighting. I can't think of anything to tell you to do, Susie, but I'm really trying to think of something to.
Yeah, you want to order
okay.
me to start the next news? Would that make you feel better?
Yes, actually, yes. That's good. Yeah. Susie, I order you to start reading out the next news. This is an order. Go
Yes.
ahead. No. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, tell me.
Yes, sir. Armin Navabi, sir. Mr. Navabi, sir.
Good. I'm happy. Go.
Okay. You feel okay now? You feel better?
Yes.